just in time for the women's 800 metres final. Kelly Holmes is bidding for a medal, but which one will it be?
A real chance in this Olympic final for Kelly Holmes.
I think she's strong enough to double up. She's a strong athlete, and there's no reason why she can't get a medal in 2 events.
These last few moments really are nerve-wracking, but she's been in this position so many times now.
You have all those dreams and then something goes wrong, and I just thought everything's going too good and it's going to go away from me again.
Kelly Holmes attacking on the outside. What has Matola got left? Has Andrianova got anything? What about Miles Clark? Kelly Holmes fighting for the gold medal with her training partner Maria Matola. Kelly Holmes bringing it home for Britain. Can she get there? Come on, Kelly! One more yard. Come on, Kelly Holmes. It's gold. Kelly's won the gold for Great Britain. What a performance. You won it, Kelly. You've won it. Yes, you've won.
Olympic champion, you've been waiting a lot of years for this. You've finally done it, girl.
The final evening of athletics here in the Olympic Stadium.
That we're getting ever closer to the moment of truth for
Kelly Holmes has the chance to make history by achieving the middle distance double. It would be arguably the greatest ever achievement by a British athlete.
There's a new level of confidence with Kelly. She oozes it.
We're not going to hang the gold medal round Kelly's neck just yet because she's got a tough race, some difficult
I'm sure she can do it. I don't put too much pressure on her. I just told her the whole of Britain will be watching, so don't worry about it.
So can Kelly Holmes do it again? Here comes Kelly Holmes. There's a lot of pushing and shoving there. Tomashova didn't seem to have much, but she's going to go with Kelly. Kelly coming on the outside, looks so easy. Has she got enough in the home straight? Hayetska tries to move out, but Kelly looking round to see where the danger is. There doesn't appear to be too much. Now she's got to push on. Now she's got to kick for home. Kelly Holmes going for 2 gold medals. It's going to be her historic second gold. What a performance!
That is the greatest performance in the history of British distance running. Kelly Holmes has done now, at the age of 34, what she's been threatening to do for the last 10 or 12 years. She is the double Olympic champion.
Athens, of course, was my defining moment. 2004, I won 2 Olympic gold medals, but it was an end of a long journey, as we all know, and like most things are. It's funny how it has to take a sort of a massive achievement in the public eye to actually get any form of kind of recognition, even if you've been battling away for years and years and years and doing great anyway, but it has to take this one big mountain to move, and then people start to look at what you do. You know, in sport and in most things in life, I had years of pressure and lots of failures in my mind, negative publicity, the special moments that come, constantly monitoring everything that I was doing, changing of my focus occasionally throughout the years, re-evaluating my targets. But to be honest with you, the main thing that remained was my ultimate goal, to become Olympic champion. Since 1984, when I was 14 years old, I was blown away by what is the most iconic sporting event in the world, the Olympic Games. As a 14-year-old, you can have lots of impressions, good or bad, but for me, that's one thing that made me feel who I was, made me come alive. I was the person that sat outside the classroom most of the time at school. I can't say I'm proud of it, but it happened. And it was only when running was introduced to me by my PE teacher that absolutely told me I was going to be a runner. There was no compromise. I was going to run this cross-country race, which I absolutely hated. The thought of wet winds, cold, mud, especially when you've got a big afro hair and you're wearing the old apple catcher knickers that most of the women in here will probably know, the skirts. the Air-Tex white shirts, the white plimp soles and the high-knee white socks isn't conducive to cross-country. But I came second in that race, and it was the one thing that made me feel really good about myself. And that was a journey that I wanted. It was only later, actually, when I was a senior athlete, after joining the army, which was another one of my ambitions. I was in there for 10 years. It was only as a senior that I really realised the impact of the Olympic values: determination, inspiration, courage, equality, friendship and respect. Those are words that I hope that people sitting here will actually look at and think, hold on a minute, that's pretty close to us. Throughout my career, I won 12 medals, and as I say, it was only when I won the 2 gold medals did actually people kind of see a big achievement and celebrate that, because it was a national event. We like to cheer our heroes. You know, we're all proud of where we're from, hopefully, and we look at something like that and you get excited, and lots of people come up to me and remember the moments, you know, where they were in the pub, throwing their children up in the air, whatever it was, dogs barking, all the things I've heard, which have been amazing. But it was that. And, you know, I had 7 years of injury problems. I was probably one of those burdens on the NHS, I'm afraid. 7 years of injuries, which actually shaped almost who I was, because I think in whatever we do in life, it's very easy to look at the negatives. It's really easy to go through all the failures and to bring those down and to always, you know, put those at the forefront of the mind. And we forget to celebrate the small successes, the successes that we actually have. We don't shout about those enough, you know, because we dwell, like everybody else, on the failures, and then that's the thing that becomes the public vision and whatever we do. And when I was an athlete, it got to the point that literally the press were just, they knew I'd probably get a medal, but, you know, you're written off almost. You're getting older. Yeah, you can get there, but yeah, maybe you won't, maybe you won't. You know, it's all these things that kind of get hammered into you. And when I was at my worst time in my athletics career, you know, I ruptured my calf, tore my Achilles, I glandular fever, stress fractures, what else I have? Tonsillitis, you name it, I probably had it in my 7-year career. And there's moments where, of course, I could have given up. The easiest thing is to give up. And most athletes, actually, that have been established over the years, who we've seen years and years ago that you might have heard of that didn't actually come to fruition, is because they gave up so easy. Because when the pressure's on, it's easy to run. But actually, for me, and in most athletes' minds, failure, loss is learning. You learn by your mistakes. You look at other people doing things well who are shouting about it. What are they doing better than you? And actually, my hope in life was that I could be an Olympic champion. It was my dream. It was my vision. It always remained, no matter what changes were made, what direction I had to go in, it always remained the dream. Now, I'm very, very aware that to be the best, you've got to have a good team of people. I didn't want to just be the best, though. I wanted to be great. You know, I didn't want to just be good. I wanted to be great. And I think sometimes that's the thing. You kind of got to put into your minds, where do we want to go and how are we going to get there? To be great is to actually shout about it. And inside, I did. Well, I had to get a brilliant team behind me, a brilliant team of people who actually were working all over the country. So we're nationally situated, but locally we're doing some fantastic work in their own roles. The coach, the physio, the nutritionist, the doctor. They weren't world class, as in overseas, international, but they were world-class in their own ability to give the best treatment and care to the people that needed it on the ground. And I actually was an athlete on the ground at the end of the day. If I got ill, I went to my local GP. I didn't go to some world-class doctor all the time, because actually it was the people that needed me, or I needed them. But they needed me to go to them, because my doctor, I have to say, Paul Guzzi, he's still my doctor to this day, And he knows everything about me. He knows everything about me, and he knows what's needed. So actually, sometimes local is best. But I had to influence those people to realise that together, they also could be great. So all of the people that were working with me, my team, had to actually come together for us to realise our full potential. I had a physio. Her name was Alison Rose. Without her, I wouldn't be standing here to this day saying a double Olympic champion. Without my PE teacher telling me I could actually be good, looking me in the eye and telling me pretty much to get a grip, I wouldn't be standing here to this day. And sometimes it only takes one person to make a huge change for someone's life, and sometimes it makes a collective people to get right to the top of the journey. As I see it, my journey was to try and reach the pinnacle of my career. It was a personal journey. It was fraught for injury, fraught for hard times, bad times, emotional moments, lots of tears. But I got there in the end. I'm going to show you, before I go through a little bit about what happened to me, a montage of Athens, for those that have no clue who I am. Athens, 2004, a long time ago. It was the end of a long journey, as I said. A long journey that we only actually reflect on after the big things happen. And if I look back, did I celebrate some successes? Absolutely. When you are hoping to be an Olympic champion and you race at a big Olympic Games, it's your first one, and you get a stress fracture when you're flying over to your holding camp, and you're told to go home because actually there's no way you're going to be running. Or if you do decide to run, you're on your own, but if you fall over, God knows what's going to happen. You have to make big decisions in life. As an athlete, I made them. I ran at those Olympic Games. I ran with a stress fracture, I ended up coming fourth on the line, picked by the smallest things, picked by the thickness of this dress. I was down. But actually, I thought to myself, wow, if I come fourth at an Olympic Games after 3 races with the best of the world and I've got a stress fracture, maybe I'm good enough. You go into the next year, you reevaluate some of the things that might not have gone so well, but then you're still holding on to the vision. I came into 1997 hoping that year would be my year. In some degrees it was. I became number 1 in the world, 5 seconds faster than any other British athlete in the 1,500 metres. Broke the British record that had stood for 12 years by Zola Budd. Do you remember Zola Budd, the barefooted young runner, fantastic runner? I thought I was going to be world champion that year. How could I not be world champion? I got a niggle in my Achilles tendon, went to the hospitals, went to the doctors, had a bit of treatment, flew over to Athens, ironically. First race of the first day in those championships, ruptured calf, complete ruptured calf, tore Achilles. It was over. Down I was, looking at failure in a sob, but then thinking, hold on a minute, celebrating what actually had happened. I'd become number 1 in the world, I was good enough. And I kept the hope. And it was almost the story of my career. 2004, as you say, was the pinnacle. There's lots of things that happened in between, and we haven't got enough time, unfortunately, to give you a little bit more insight. But I'm going to show you this to remind yourself that actually, when we stick at what we believe in, things can happen and come true. We celebrate success and not keep dwelling on the failures. We're always looking and measuring failure instead of shouting about success, because only when you shout about success do you move on, because you're proud, you've got more vision. If you stick back there, you don't make it. I wanted to share something with you because we're here today. For those that don't know much about my actual story, the year before that, I had the worst time of my life. I suffered from really bad depression, to the point of self-harm, to looking in the mirror and not wanting to be here. For somebody that had a 10-year military career, an international athlete, very successful, people, would come out and think, what? How? End of the day, I'm human. like everybody else. Everybody else that's looked after by the NHS, we're all human beings at the end of the day. We struggle in our different ways, and I definitely struggled then. And it was because of people who ultimately wanted to do the best job possible in their own field to help me reach my dream, to be able to stand on that rostrum 20 years after first dreaming of being an Olympic champion. That's why I was there. And keeping with the hope and not giving up when it was getting tough is also why I was there. You know, the Olympic brand is an international brand. Actually, do you know what? So is the NHS, because nobody else has got it, and they all want it. It's an industry that absolutely cares about the people that it looks after. No matter what publicity might come, whether good or bad, you know, we always elaborate the bad, of course, because we don't shout about the good. It's definitely an industry that cares. It's an industry where people go the extra mile. We just need to shout about it more. On Tuesday, I started a charity 9 years ago called Dame Kelly Holmes Trust. We work with young people from areas of deprivation, disadvantaged backgrounds. And I was actually heartbroken on Tuesday because I met a girl, a teenager, that is suffering badly with mental health issues. I felt powerless. What can I do? I can talk from experience. I can try and help. And one of the things that I think personally, and it's just my personal opinion because I'm here with you guys, is that, you know, there's some things that you can try as a big organisation. In all the things you've heard over the last 3 days, there's some things you can actually make a long-term impact and a solution of change. Our children are our future. Our children are absolutely our future. And I get disheartened all the time with the issues that are happening. This is a national issue, but locally, they need to deal with it.